Janet Gemmel with Cape Fear Family Law, and I'm here today with Garland Powell. So she's going to talk to us today about boundaries. Garland, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm Garland Powell. I'm a counselor here at CareNet Counseling in Wilmington, across from UNCW. I have a master's in social work, have my license in clinical counseling, LCSW, and an LCAS, which does addictions counseling as well, and a CCS, so I help people get their addiction license and can supervise people for that.
Why did you become a counselor?
People said that I was easy to talk to and a good listener, and just love what I do. It's a calling for me, and I feel very comfortable and gifted in helping people. I'm very fulfilled with that.
Tell us a little bit about what a boundary is.
A boundary is it's different than a wall. Some people build up walls, and they have a wall that cannot be broken down. They build it themselves. But a boundary is something you set, like a line in the sand, that says not to cross this, that I need a safe space.
What do people put boundaries or build boundaries for?
People can set boundaries for lots of things. They can set them for conversations, like if someone is talking to them in an offensive way or yelling or screaming at them, that they can say, you know what, I deserve respect, I'm a human being, and you can't talk to me that way, and this is a boundary. So to enforce that boundary, they may have to say, until you can talk to me as an adult calmly, I'm not going to be able to talk to you, and I'm going to hang up on you now, or I'm going to walk away from this conversation because it's not correct, it's not right, it's not proper.
How is a boundary different from a wall then?
A wall is something that you set up out of fear and that you're afraid of getting hurt, where a boundary is more of a safety place of realizing that this is not safe for me. And so I need to say, you know what, I can't go there. This is a line that I need for my safety, not out of building it out of fear.
How hard is it for people to put down boundaries?
Well, for people who don't practice it, it's very hard. It's very hard. Some people even see boundaries as walls. Like, I shouldn't be setting this up if I'm, I should, if my husband is abusive or drinks too much and all, that I shouldn't be telling him that he can't do that or that this is hurting me, and there's a difference between a wall and a boundary. It's really hard to distinguish sometimes, but some of it is we make it and don't realize we've made it, like it's a protection thing, and then out of fear, and then sometimes a boundary would be more of I'm setting this because this is best. I recognize that behavior is not okay, and I have to protect myself from it in a healthy way, not out of fear.
So when do people start to set boundaries? Like, how does that work?
People start to set boundaries when they realize that there's a line being crossed, that this is no longer okay for me. So perhaps as they start to grow in strength, let's say that you're having issues with someone calling you and being ugly to you on the phone, or having difficulty with communication, that someone's yelling at you, and you realize that I keep doing this over and over again, and I keep engaging with this person who's yelling at me, and it's not getting us anywhere. We're just in this circle, and it's not helping, and we're not accomplishing anything. So I need to set a boundary that I'm not going to talk to you when you're yelling at me because this isn't working. So I recognize that this isn't good for me. I come away from this conversation crying, feeling terrible, that you've said ugly things to me. I've lost my temper, said ugly things to you. So I'm going to set this boundary that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to engage in that poor behavior, and I'm not going to have that behavior towards me anymore. I need to be healthier. I need to learn to do this better, so I set a boundary.
Is a boundary the same thing as like a personal rule?
Not exactly, but personal space maybe. You know how we all have our personal space where we start to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Boundaries are set to keep us where we're more comfortable.
So I know that everybody who's watching this is probably asking themselves the same question that I am, which is, how do we enforce the boundaries that we put down when other people just climb right over them?
Well, and that takes practice. It really does. But learning how to go ahead and enforce a boundary, again, with for example, if you get a text from a difficult person that you know you're at work and it's going to upset you, but learning to not read it until you get off of work, or till you're in a space where you can think about it and deal with it appropriately, instead of, oh, I got a text from so-and-so and shucks, I got to text him right back. You don't always have to answer immediately. You can set up a boundary that says, okay, I'm not going to look at this until after work because I know it's going to upset me right now. So I'm going to wait. And that's a healthy boundary. You're still going to respond, but it's a healthy boundary to say, for me right now, I can't do this. I can wait a little bit on this.
When we set up rules for our children, like you're going to go to bed at 9 p.m. or you're going to brush your teeth every morning, are those boundaries?
I'd say that's oral hygiene.
Okay. Or is a boundary more of a way that we want to be interacted with personally?
I think it is. I think boundaries are also ways of saying I deserve respect, and this is how I see respect, and you're going to respect me by giving me by appreciating and holding my boundary. And if you cross that line, then you're not respecting my boundary.
What happens if somebody doesn't respect your boundary? What's a good solution for that?
Well, sometimes not respecting boundaries, for example, if you have that difficult situation where they just continue to bombard you with texts and you say, you know, they know you're at work and you can't talk right now. And you've asked them before, don't text me when I'm at work, and they're ignoring that boundary. You know, just not engaging then. Just holding firm on that, and then answering when you have the opportunity.
Have you ever had a client where they've come to you and they've said, I've set up this boundary. You're not going to text me while I'm at work. Mm-hmm. And then when I go home, it's so much worse. Maybe they've broken something. Maybe they've been angry and started to yell at me. And they don't stop. Like, what is the solution there?
You may have to take some drastic measures. There are consequences to people violating your boundaries that you have set. And they can be as severe as, in that situation, maybe calling the police or saying, you know, you need to stop, or I'm going to have to remove myself from the situation for my own safety. So it may take more drastic steps for them to understand that you mean it when you say, because the first times you set boundaries, people don't always respect them. They don't believe that you're going to keep them because you've not kept them maybe in the past, or you've backed up on what you said. So learning to keep boundaries may mean that you have to go a step further.
So you have to set boundaries, but you're going to get peace in the end. Tell us how you're going to set some new boundaries in your life. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and we look forward to seeing you again.